Good evening, gentlemen. In this video, I will genuinely change your entire mindset and paradigm about love in relationships. And so far, I haven't seen anyone else talk about this on YouTube. Now, you might be in a situation right now where you started dating your girl and you weren't the most masculine guy when you started dating her. And now you've heard all these guys on social media talk about, oh, you need to be masculine so she can be feminine, and you need to do this and this and this. And some of them come from a more holistic and wholesome point. Others come from a more selfish and degenerate point. But at the end of the day, they all say the same, right? You need to be more masculine, you need to do this, you need to do this, otherwise she will lose attraction, she will cheat on you, all that kind of stuff. Here's the thing. If you start a relationship and both partners aren't drastically masculine or feminine, then there's two ways this relationship can go. The first way is, and this is what usually happens for most people who don't have this kind of knowledge, is the relationship turns into a 50-50 relationship. What this means is that both partners are not really lovers, not really partners, they're more friends or roommates. And there is an exception to this where this is good, and that is if both of these partners have a balanced sexual essence by nature, right? That also is a thing. There are people who are just not more masculine or more feminine, but who are exactly in the middle by essence, and it's good for them, and they don't need anything else. That's like 10% of people. That's what people usually say. Around 10% of people have a balanced sexual essence. Out of the other 90%, 80% are usually with men are more masculine, with women are more feminine, and then also the other way around also works. There are men who are by nature more feminine and women who are by nature more masculine, and they should live that way, right? That's also something no one tells you. Everyone just like, men masculine, women feminine. Black and white thinking, usually not the truth, right? Now here's the other possibility, and this is if you have this knowledge and if you know how to apply it, right? This is what happened to me as well, is you over time build more depth and more polarity in the relationship because both partners evolve more to their natural sexual essence. Me at 17, when I started dating my girl 5.5 years ago, I wasn't very masculine, not nearly as masculine as I am right now. I was 17. I was skinny as fuck. I was insecure. I was, all the things you can think of a 17-year-old guy who wasn't very happy with himself. I was that. Got bullied, was very low in the social hierarchy, right? And, well, that has changed over the last few years. The difference between these two paths that relationships usually take is effort and knowledge. The thing is, and this is also something that no one has ever told you, is that when you get into a relationship, and you're not, as me at 17, right? You're not that hyper-masculine guy. You're also not going to attract a hyper-feminine woman. Maybe you're going to attract a woman who yearns to be in her feminine a lot, but she isn't right now, right? That's kind of what happened to me. The thing is, you attract your complementary opposite. Meaning if you're hyper-masculine, you're going to attract a hyper-feminine woman. If you're not hyper-masculine yet, because there's all these layers and all this indoctrination put onto you by society, and you think that being masculine is a bad thing, as I thought at 17, then you're not going to be very masculine, even though you want to. And then most likely you're going to attract a woman who isn't very feminine, but she wants to be very feminine. And I think that's where you might be right now. Of course, I can't say this because I don't know you, but you need to reflect on this. Are you at this point right now where you want to be more masculine, not because YouTubers say it, but because you authentically want to be more masculine? There's mosquitoes. Fucking hell. Summer is really starting here. Not because YouTubers tell you to be more masculine, but because you authentically, for example, want to be more stoic, right? Want to be more vigorous, more competitive, and you enjoy this kind of stuff. And maybe you need to start getting rid of this indoctrination that has been put onto you. And then maybe as well, your girl will be able to be more in her feminine. Because this is the thing, boys. a woman who maybe wants to be more feminine but isn't right now because of all this stuff put onto her, right? All this stuff that she learned over the course of her life. A woman like that doesn't want a hyper masculine guy. If she can't be fully in her feminine, she doesn't want a hyper masculine guy. But maybe, and this is what I think, or I know from the people I've coached and stuff, usually two people find each other who both aren't very polar, very masculine or feminine, but they want to be more masculine or feminine, right? And they're both yearning to be more in that state, and they're also both learning at the same time. Now the thing is here, from my experience and just from my knowledge that I've picked up over the years about relationships and love and about sexual energy, because that's what masculine and feminine energy is at the end of the day, right? What I've learned is, if you're in that situation, the masculine should usually lead. Because what masculine at the end of the day really means, what masculinity really means, is leading lovingly, and then also being fully yourself or becoming more yourself again, right? Maybe as a child you were fully yourself, but then over time all these stigmas, all these paradigms have been put onto you, and you've been silenced through school, right? You couldn't run around. This is the biggest reason why I didn't like school, because I had to sit for 8 hours straight, and I just wanted to play volleyball and run around and do backflips. That's literally all I wanted to do, and I couldn't. And so this side of me was suppressed, right? So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say here is, the masculine has to lead, in my opinion. This is not something universal, but from my experience and from the knowledge I've picked up, the masculine should lead. Because what happens when the masculine leads is the feminine gets more space, more room to be there in the woman, right? Fucking mosquitoes, bro. At the end of the day, imagine two cups. The cup filled with masculine water and the cup filled with feminine water. These cups in a relationship are always both 100% full. Either they're filled 50-50 by man and woman. Man gives 50% masculine energy, 50% feminine energy, woman the same thing. Or, and this is the place where most people, like I said, around 80% of people want to go usually, is that one partner gives more of the masculine energy and one partner more of the feminine energy. So logically, if you as the man, if you want to be the more masculine person in the relationship, give, like, let's say 80% of the masculine energy, then naturally your woman will have the room and be allowed to give 80% of the feminine energy and only 20% of the masculine. So if you love your woman and you can kind of feel that she wants to be more in her feminine, just jumping around basically, right? And yeah, not have to worry about so many things, not have to take responsibility, not have to make decisions, because you are a good leader, a loving leader. And if you find those sides of her very attractive, then man, lead her into that. That's your job. Lead yourself into more of that masculine pole and lead her more into that feminine pole. But not from a place of, oh, she's gonna want to fuck me more because I'm more masculine. Fucking stupid, bro. That is so short-sighted at the end of the day. And it doesn't work really, right? The thing is, when I said earlier, being/becoming more of who you are, this is something that's crucial here. Really being honest with yourself. I recently had the opportunity to talk to a guy who, his clients are literally billionaires, and I'm not gonna say exactly what he does, because if I do, everyone knows who he is, or at least the people who know him, right? But he has worked with some crazy people, and I got the chance to ask him a question, and I asked him, what do you think my authentic edge, my authentic, what's authentic for me to get out of my comfort zone in that relationship right now? And he said, just being yourself. And if she, like, just discovering more of who you are and then embracing that. And if she then wants that and comes along for the ride, awesome. If she doesn't, well, then you know that she's not the one. And then you can move on and she can move on. But what you've gained through this whole thing, even though you've maybe lost her, is that you've gained yourself, right? And that's why you should do this, out of selfish reasons. I'll be completely honest. Embrace yourself. Become the guy who you want to become. And if that also opens the door for her to be more in her feminine, awesome. Again, good for you. At the end of the day, why I say we should do this for selfish reasons is because humans are inherently selfish. Everything we do, if you help out another person, you do that because it makes you feel good. Be honest, it makes you feel good, and that's why you help that other person. That's why you help the old lady across the street, because it makes you think higher of yourself. And that's not a bad reason, because it benefits the other person as well, right? Now here's one more thing that is very important to understand here. Not everyone is ready to go more towards one side of the spectrum, masculine and feminine. What I mean by that is, you might become a very masculine guy. You might really embrace your deep masculinity and really find yourself through that. Your partner, though, she might not be ready for it. She might not be ready to be fully in her feminine, and that's okay. At the end of the day, even though you might give her space, she might still try to almost compete with you about giving the masculine energy, right? She might compete with you on who can fill up more of that glass of masculine energy. If that happens, be kind to her. Realize that this is happening, that she's just not... These fucking mosquitoes. That she's just not ready to open to love in that depth. And that's okay. And guide her through it. If you feel like it's genuinely what she wants or what she yearns for in her heart, but she's just not open to receiving that deep of love and that deep of polarity and attraction, then man, just kindly and lovingly, just kindly and lovingly guide her through it. Because boys, one thing that we as men need to realize is that when people talk about the war on masculinity, it's not just a war on masculinity, it's a war on sexual energy, it's a war on femininity just the same way. Toxic masculinity, yeah, sure, that doesn't exist. There is no such thing as toxic. Like, masculinity isn't toxic. There are toxic people who are masculine, but there's no such thing as masculinity being toxic. Masculinity isn't toxic, and femininity isn't weak. That's something that all of us need to understand, right? Because yeah, sure, masculine men are frowned upon nowadays. The thought of a masculine guy upsets many people, and the exact same thing is true for a feminine woman, right? It's the exact same thing, and I guarantee you, so many women want to be more feminine, but they feel like it's not their place to be more feminine. It's not okay to be weak, which femininity is not at all fucking weak. If you actually look into what it really is, and not just on the surface. And yeah, at the end of the day, we have really built a society where both of these, I don't want to say extremes, but both of these polar opposites have been, built or are seen as something negative. A feminine woman can't thrive in the workforce, right? And that's why she shouldn't be so feminine. And a masculine guy can't be empathetic, and that's why he shouldn't be so masculine. At the end of the day, all of us have both of these energies in us. This is something you need to realize. Man has masculine and feminine within him, and he has to embrace both of them and learn about both of them and integrate both of them. If you see these guys who say, just become more masculine, more masculine, they haven't integrated their feminine side, and they're afraid of their feminine side. They're afraid of showing that feminine side because they haven't integrated it. Same is true for a feminine woman who wants to be more feminine, and is afraid of the masculine. Same thing, or a woman who wants to be more masculine, who hasn't embraced her femininity. We need to embrace both, and then figure out how we can balance them, and how much to one side of the spectrum, or maybe just in the middle, right? How far we lean. on that spectrum. Now, what I'm about to say is for the ambitious guys watching this. The guys watching this who don't just watch this to distract themselves from their problems, but the guys who actually want to master love and their relationship. Quick mosquito break. We're building a community which is completely free, and it is a collective of ambitious men who want to become better lovers for themselves, for their partners, for their children or future children. There's guys literally from all ages, like we have 15-year-olds in there and we have 65-year-olds in there, which is awesome for me to see, because I'm 22, and for me to see that someone at that age still takes advice from me is very awesome to see. I'm not sure if I can give advice because I've never been that age, but it's certainly very wholesome to see. Now, if you want to be a part of that community, I post there a lot, the other guys post their lessons. It's literally just a place where we share our lessons about relationships. If you want to be a part of it, you can join by clicking the link in the description and applying. I will read over your application myself, so don't write any bullshit in there, because I won't let you in then. And yeah, if I think you're a good fit for the community, I'll let you in. You can be a part of it and build that collective with us. I'll see you in there. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope there was enough light, because right now it's honestly already quite dark. The sun went down very quickly. But yeah, I hope this video isn't completely black. I don't think it is, hopefully. not that good with cameras. Yeah, boys, I'll see you soon. I'll see you in the community maybe. See you. Bye. Have a good one.